Nice to see, we have our main warehouse is right next door. So the wind was going in the right direction away from them, but it was not dissipating at all. There was no thermal inversion whatsoever. So it was just it's all. All right, ready to go? Okay, we're all set. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the August 7th, 2023 regular meeting of the Lyman Board of Selectmen. This meeting is a public proceeding and is being recorded. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What's up, Matt?
Okay, first on is public input. Anybody in attendance will have up to 5 minutes to address the board. And tonight I would really like to ask if you do come up that you stay to 5 minutes. We got, after the last meeting, we had complaints that people were going longer than the 5 minutes. And so much as I hate to do it, I'll keep a timer.
Start yet.
Transportation time doesn't count.
Yeah.
Give me a free ride. My name is Don Hernan, planning board member, and also member of the last charter commission and the one before that. I have two items to mention to you, bring to your attention. The one is, which on both of these, I've given memos to Lindsay. Hopefully she'll let you have them if she wants to. Maybe she wants to throw them away. But anyway, the
That's funny.
Lyman bylaws, planning board bylaws, and the Lyman zoning ordinance both have processes for, or mention a process to put new members on the planning board. I don't think this was followed the last time members were appointed. And I'll just read them. Bylaws Article 2 says, membership 2.1, appointments to the board are made by the municipal officers after a recommendation from the board, referring to the planning board, in accordance with the Town of Lyman Municipal Charter. And then the Lyman zoning ordinance, Article 2.3, remind you that the zoning ordinances are voted on and approved by vote of town residents, states vacancies on the board, referring to the planning board, are to or shall be filled by advertising for new members. The board shall review all applications and make a recommendation on new members to the Board of Selectmen. I don't think that was followed in the last set of appointments. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Also, I just want to let you know that the planning board is in the process of reviewing and updating the bylaws. Once this review is completed, the bylaws, if changed, which I think they probably will be to some extent, will be forwarded to the town manager and select board as required by the town charter article 5.1.2, which says blah, 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 blah. So we've done this in the past, and let me think now. The number 0 comes to mind of any comments we've ever received from the select board since I can remember. So if you have some comments, then obviously you should make them. And I think if we follow past precedent, we'll probably say, please give us your comments in writing. So that's, I know that's going to bait your interest for the new and improved version, but we'll see. Second item, this is something I had mentioned previously. I repeat myself, I guess in February, but I sent a memo dated July 26 to the select board about recommending changing the new town charter. Basically, I'm asking or suggesting, not asking, suggesting that the word general, referring to general election, be taken out of the charter in 2 places. Whoops, my time is up, I guess.
No.
Anyway, all I'm saying is that there's a good chance, this would be a good opportunity this year because we have this, I won't say crazy, but we have this thing coming on the ballot, I believe, about the corridor, the buying CMP up, not the corridor, but buying CMP. If that doesn't bring out people, I don't know what will. Just reminder, to make any change to the charter effective, you've got to have at least 30% of the total votes cast in the municipality in the last gubernatorial election. Per the internet, 2468 votes were cast in Lyman in November of 2020. So 30% is about 740 votes. Doesn't have to be in favor, just cast. So here would be a good chance. And I don't want to be, I'm not trying to harangue you about it, but it just, the old story, find a problem, fix a problem. The word general bothers me because I know there's been interpretations from MMA and the town lawyer, but somebody could still, if we don't do it right, could sue us and say, hey, you're not following the charter. And I don't think any changes can go to the November 23, this one anyway, because of the timing of the ordinance review committee just getting started, blah, 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 blah. And so 24 is probably the first time anyway, but you could get those words out of there this year if you want to. So those are the only 2 semi-brilliant suggestions I have this evening. And I thank you for your time, and please don't consider me rude, but I've got other meetings, different weeks. Got
Oh, it's
some
not rude.
cold libations waiting at home, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you, Don.
Joe Wagner, 26 Day Road. Good evening. In your previous meeting, the Select Board adopted an interim recruitment of volunteer policy. Now, interim indicates that the board intends to review this at some time in the future to possibly modify it. I strongly recommend that the Select Board set a specific sunset date for that policy, maybe a year into the future, at which time you can review it and determine whether or not it will be continued Otherwise, interim becomes indefinite. Also like to formally notify the Select Board of the submission of a petition for a special town meeting at the direction of the town clerk. I turned the forms into the Deputy Town Clerk, Sue Belrose, this morning. Copies of the petition language, I have that here. I believe, Amber, you have a copy already, and Jessica as well. Tom, and exactly.
Thank you.
Reads.
Thank you.
Pursuant to Section 228 of the town charter, 10% of the number of voters, Lyman voters in the last gubernatorial election, that would be, according to what we received, 248 signatures were required, 321 were obtained. Just to clarify what this is and what this is not about. This is not about an attempt to reinstate a former town employee to a specific position. No. It is about restoring the town clerk position as a separate and distinct position from the town manager. Regardless of how anyone feels about the adoption of the town manager arrangement, it is specified in the voter-approved revised charter. I think it is safe to say that the town wants to see the occupant of the town manager position succeed. And I think the probability of the success would be greatly increased if that person was not also assigned the responsibility of 2 other full-time jobs, town clerk and select board clerk. Please note the petition calls for the restoration of the separate select board clerk position as well. In recent years, the planning board experienced an object lesson in not having sufficient administrative support. For a time, our previous code enforcement officer, Patty McKenna, was without an administrative assistant. Patty was preparing paperwork such as notices of decision and meeting minutes. This detracted from her ability to focus on her CEO responsibilities. With the hiring of Julie Lemieux, our exceptionally able planning board clerk, our current CEO, Brenda Charland, can devote her energies to her primary responsibilities. In short, the town manager should not be dealing with routine administrative chores such as preparing minutes or keeping the announcement sign outside of town hall up to date. Please also note that the town manager and the town clerk positions each require in-depth knowledge of very different sections of Maine state law. A wise member of the Lyman community recently said to me that the town clerk is the person who is critical in keeping the town out of court. Specialized knowledge of election procedures and official record requirements is necessary for that. In accordance with the town charter, it is our expectation that the verification of the petition signatures will be done expeditiously, and the board will schedule a special town meeting in the not too distant future so that this issue can once again be addressed in an open forum as it was at the June 15th town meeting. Finally, as another means to lighten the load on the town manager, I again ask the select board to reconsider the reestablishment of the hiring committee. From a managerial perspective, multiple assessments on employment applications should be welcome. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carol Bakerow, 117 Mast Road. I wasn't sure if I should address this now or when it comes up in the meeting, but I'll do it now and you can tell me. I noticed that you're considering charging a franchise fee on Spectrum Cable TV customers. And I've been following along on the table. I'm trying to get more information discussion for a while. It looks like maybe you finally got some of the information you were looking for and you're highly considering doing it. I'd like you to just say no to that idea. I think if you were to look at the 2 companies that people in Maine hate the most, it's their power company and their cable provider. And the reason we hate them is they just keep charging more and more and more. And it gets hard to lower that rate. So I noticed in one of the emails, and thank you for including all of that in the agenda package, by the way, so we could look at it, we could see what you were saying. It says the town can choose to elect a franchise fee from 1% to 5%. and federal law allows up to 5, and that seems to be the number you're considering. And it would be collected on video cable TV services only. Everything that's included under that, however. And when I looked through the list, it was quite a bit of stuff. I mean, it's not just your basic cable fee. My favorite sentence in all of that was, a town can elect not to impose a franchise fee. And I really hope that's where you're going, and would urge you. I probably every 3 months now, I have to call them to lower my bill. It used to be once a year. I'd call, we'd have a little friendly chat after going through the 7 circles of phone hell. But now it's all the time. And I noticed that she didn't have a current bill that she felt she could give you a copy of to show you the fees. So I brought mine. It showed up today. And on the front page, it said, my broadcast TV surcharge, which is some fake fee they add on here, will increase by $1 a month next month. Just period, due to blah, 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 rising programming fees. Okay, in addition to that, there's also another one. The broadcast TV surcharge that's going up $1 is already $22. That's a fee that they're basically making up, as far as I can tell. Right now, even the Congress and the president have figured out that people in this country have had enough of junk fees, and this would be a junk fee. It would have no added benefit. It would not be like the 911 fee, where that allegedly goes to help with 911, or the connectivity fee that goes to help schools connect and improve their internet. This would just be more revenue for the town based on the backs of people who have to subscribe to cable. I know you can stream. I get that. But at my house, the internet is sometimes there, sometimes not. My cell phone service is sometimes there, sometimes not. Cable is my most, I would say reliable, but last night nothing wasn't working, service that I can get at my house. So please, I need to be able to call them and at least say, nope, my town doesn't charge a fee. Don't pretend they do. Please consider not doing this. Don't even go to public hearing. Just say no. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Terrific. Moving along, and as we go through the evening here, if there is discussion that needs to be made, please come to the podium and speak there. No, probably after every meeting, this is probably the biggest thing I hear is, I can't hear anybody in the back of the room, and what have you. So we're still working on AV stuff, but please, no chattering in the back, please, and come up to the podium. All right, mail. Oh, this is new. It's a breakdown from the call from the York County.
Yeah, they do Alfred and Lyman.
For dispatch. And this is just for Lyman, I'm assuming Lyman. 82. Because I didn't see this one.
Alfred's on the back.
Alfred's on the back.
Yeah.
No, we were a lot lower than Alfred. I don't know what these are referring to. Motor vehicle stop 68.
It's
Yeah.
work that they did on their own when they
Yeah.
were out versus dispatch.
So dispatch and self, 226 calls. Average arrive time and on scene. Okay. And EcoMaine, proportional share of landfill closed plus post costs, shared costs. We 89 to FY 2023. We're 50,000 tons, 2.3% of total cost. We have a shared cost of $414,000. Anybody get to see the reveal the other day on the news or in person? Coming out of the smokestack of EcoMaine?
Oh, the purple.
Yeah. Okay, no complaints. It's nice. Minutes, review of and approve of minutes from 7/17, which I have to abstain from.
right? I kind of feel like there's something in there under complaints that I don't think I said it like that. Select Board Member Gable suggests to the complainant that they should file a civil suit and possibly a cease and desist order. I didn't say that. I think I said it was a civil matter. I don't believe I ever would have said suit. I think I know better, but
So these are just summary minutes.
but
And I tasked somebody else with writing them up this time. But, where if the summary minutes are going to be debated every time, and this is totally fine, but, the minimum requirement is like the motion, the vote that was made. So I
Yeah.
can take the summary out of the minutes and we just do the votes
Mhm.
so that there is no contention on what was said, not said, because you always have your YouTube videos to fall
Yep.
back on.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'm just
No.
stating the, and then.
I've had this discussion in other organizations also that, we go above and beyond.
Well, exactly, that's not, but,
So if you make
That's
a
all.
motion to go forth and
well, that one, and
take
then
that out.
I have a other thing on the last page, that is just my own personal preference. I've been a Mrs. for 41 years, and I would like to continue to be a Mrs. on the things like that as well, or be one, and I appreciate that. Other than that, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve the minutes with the two updates that Vicky has outlined. One under item C and one under other at the end.
Okay.
Can I second that?
Mhm.
Well, I second that then.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye,
Okay.
thank you.
Do you guys, going forward, do you want to just take the summary out of the minutes? I mean, if people need context to the meetings, they
No.
can go to the video.
No,
Because this is like the fourth time we've like debated the summary.
I
with
think it's-
reason, no. I mean,
I think it's minor enough that we can try to
Mhm.
keep going.
My life easier. I mean, because like the five of us could write summary minutes and they'll all be different from one another.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's four of them up there and myself. Oh my God.
And it's not time for public to speak.
We'll leave it as
Okay.
it is right now. Okay, payroll warrant number 3 in the amount of $23,032.89. Motion?
I make a motion, we approve payroll warrant number 3 in the amount of $23,032.89.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
aye,
Motion to approve payroll warrant number 5 in the amount of $26,551.05.
I make,
second that.
oh, that wasn't a motion yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go.
I'll make a motion that we approve payroll warrant number 5 in the amount of $26,551.05.
I would second that too.
Okay.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye,
Oh, sorry, yes.
We got you. Accounts payable warrant, number 58, FY '23 in the amount of $280,047.60.
so moved.
I will second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Here's one that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, though we always do the first one, right?
For FY '24. Accounts payable warrant number 4 in the amount of $990,000, $990,214,
900.
$990,914.60. Did I get that right?
Hard to
Yeah.
say.
That's a lot of money.
Yep.
I imagine most of it's
The school
the school.
and the county,
And who?
the county.
The county.
I make a motion to approve accounts payable warrant number 4 in the amount of $990,914.60.
Second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Terrific. Okay, unfinished business, tax acquired properties, discussion for the workshop.
So you guys talked about appointing Dave Alves, because he did a lot, he did really the bulk of the work on this, so.
Which we received an email this morning.
Yeah, so I mean, he'd like
That's
to, finalize a plan. He didn't really get to finish everything and then kind of section it out. So you have like your landlocks, your town owned, your, this is for future, whatever. But I think he just wanted to maybe work and develop a full plan for you guys.
And I thought we talked about having, and maybe I misunderstood, I thought we were gonna have another workshop and invite him and possibly Peggy to come and then
I
talk
had
through
invited
sort
him
of.
to this meeting.
Yeah.
He wasn't
Oh, okay.
able
I thought
to
that's
come.
what we
Okay, then I
had said.
misunderstood. That's my bad. Okay,
But he did write his letter. He sent it in
Yeah.
this morning.
okay.
Oh. There's a letter.
I can't comment much since I wasn't at the workshop, so I did read the.
I think at the workshop, and anyone can jump in and correct me if my summary is wrong, but I think we basically just were like, this is a lot of information and Dave put a lot of work in it and we don't want to make, we don't want to proceed with any decisions without at least talking to him about what the intent behind the work was
Yep.
Yeah.
to make
just
sure
for
that we were all on the
information.
same page.
Continuity.
I think Dave's letter outlined essentially having the list and having everything all listed and documented in one place, which I think we all agreed that that was the best plan, so that we have that. So if anybody comes in and is like, hey, what does the town own? It's all right there.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I got from it. It was a package deal.
Yeah.
Working with Brenda, the chief, Peggy, you.
Mhm.
Yeah. And put a package deal together so it's a living document for us, not looking to sell anything or anything. We're just a working document. So that's what I
as a
got.
starting point, right?
As a starting point. So. Is that the way you, do you still want a workshop or is that the way you
No,
want
I
to
don't
go?
need to work. I don't
We
need
don't
to
need
still
another workshop?
I don't.
Somebody want to make a motion that we go ahead with that group? Do we need?
I'll
Like
make
to-
a motion to appoint Dave Alves as the liaison
Yep.
for,
To continue working on it.
yeah, to
And-
work on the land.
Is there a committee for that?
Well, there was him and Brenda, him and, you on that with him and Peggy?
No.
He was the liaison as a select board
Isn't that how it's supposed to be?
member.
Select board member.
So. I mean, if we wanted a select board member to be a liaison, one of you guys want to do it, I'll do it, I don't care. I just think we need to move forward on this, and if the chief
Yeah.
and Brenda are still interested and Peggy is still interested, you know, you've got a good core group of people that are educated on that type of business. You know, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't go forward with it.
Yeah, I think all he wants to do is just really summarize the
Summarize it,
information.
finish it,
And then you guys kind of do with it what you want.
yeah,
More of a report back.
yeah.
I don't mind doing it. I'm not a liaison for anything at this point. I don't even have the key to the building. So honestly,
I'll give you mine if you
I
like.
can do it.
Okay,
So-
so there's, your motion is to have Dave continue the work that he's
Well,
doing.
to me,
as
it
liaison
just-
to the
it-
board.
But
He's put all of this time into it. And I don't mean like him just being a liaison as far as like, you know, he has the backing of the board, but like to continue on with the project.
Correct.
That's,
So I'll second that motion, but then I want to talk about a liaison from the select board to that working
Okay.
group. So I second your motion.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
I,
Are you saying you want to be? the
I'd be
liaison?
more than happy to work with Dave
Okay.
and be the liaison from the select board
So,
and work with everyone, not just Dave, but everyone, because somebody's got to carry this on forward, right?
so
Too, so it might as well be me.
I nominate Vicky Gavel to serve as the select board liaison to this working group on the town owned land
I
project.
second that motion.
Discussion.
Is it a conflict of interest if I vote for myself?
Possibly.
No,
Don't think so.
Just check it.
we don't number you anymore.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Franchise agreement, who draft, scheduled public hearing discussion, last meeting, item tabled again. Updates as requested from Shelley and C email.
I guess just to clarify too, so like the public hearing is just for the franchise ordinance. It's just part of state law to have a public hearing before you even like adopt a franchise ordinance. And it doesn't dictate the fees. Your agreement will dictate, you know, if you guys want to go with fees or not, no fees. It's totally up to you. The ordinance just, it really mirrors the state statute on what you're allowed to do. So.
Personally,
generic.
I don't need a fee. I don't need to charge a fee. A fee is a tax by another name. I feel like all the entities have their hands out for, and I'm not interested in taking a fee. And I also reviewed the proposed ordinance and I don't see any issues with it.
I'm not for fees either, but as Tony has told us, we're gonna get charged no matter what. And he says they will put the fees, they'll hide them, they'll bear them, and at least we get money back from that on an annual basis, which is, as he showed there in this thing here, 61,000 a year. So that was kind of the point that we looked at it from. They're gonna put a hidden fee there anyway, and we understand, just as you said, you know, they're gonna do it.
I
So,
mean, maybe too, like when you do your public hearing for the ordinance, that might be a good opportunity to like solicit some feedback.
yes,
Can I ask a question about that whole thing? Okay, so we already have a Spectrum bill personally.
Mhm.
So this is we're gonna have to pay more for our Spectrum bill? I don't understand
I know it's hard to understand.
what this is.
I've sat through many of meetings to sit there and try to understand it.
Okay.
And listen to hours with Tony and what have you. And
And if
and
the
it's-
town is paying for Spectrum, how does that affect, I mean, we're redoing our Spectrum bill because you're the only game in town.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. And now you're saying we might pay more?
am I saying this right, the way Tony has explained it to us? You know, we could say no.
Okay.
But, and we'll go on our merry way. But they will, as we say, they'll put it in there in some type of format that we don't even realize, huh?
A junk fee.
A junk fee of some sort, and we'll pay it anyway. And if not, and if you and
Is
I,
it because of this?
no, not us, not, I say you, we as townspeople, me, you, who have Spectrum, has nothing to do with the town,
Okay.
okay?
Why are we discussing this then? It has nothing to do with the town.
It gives us the channel that gives us the opportunity, try to help me out here, because channel, the town channel, that then we are able to get reimbursed all these different types of fees that ended up at like $61,000 a year that comes back to the town, that comes back into our
Okay,
coffers.
so we're doing this because we're getting money back.
That we would never get back anyway, but they're gonna charge us as the residents, we're gonna get charged it anyway, we will never see it. You understand? Does that it's hard to make sense out of it. I understand.
Yeah,
Tony would come to a public hearing.
Yeah.
We could ask him.
Tony lives this stuff.
Yeah.
And he wants to retire. He has a few left. He's really smart and.
Well, that's all well and good. I guess what I don't understand is
Yeah, it's-
us, we're paying an exorbitant,
I know.
and you're saying we're going to pay more with our taxes?
They're gonna charge it anyways.
No.
whether you do it or not. That's what Tony said. So, sorry.
Yeah.
He said basically, no matter if the town chooses to do the fee or not, 1% to 5%, Spectrum's still going to charge that. They're gonna hide it somewhere else. But what they like to do is make it seem like it's the town's fault. Then by putting the fee on there, saying it's a town assessed fee, but it's really not. It's the fee they were gonna charge anyways. But this way, the tax money comes back to the town to be able to use towards the townspeople. The fee's gonna be put on no matter what.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
what Tony explained,
that's-
right?
Come up to the, please.
So, and Michelle, I want you to answer some as well as Tom. So the way I see it is exactly what you said, is that they're gonna charge it anyways.
Mhm.
This way, the town votes it in as a franchise fee. They will be, and I've heard Tony say this, they will reimburse the town
Correct.
for those franchise fees. So what is the town, because nobody's discussing that, is what is the town gonna do with that franchise fee reimbursement? Are they just gonna absorb it into the general fund? Or are they gonna reimburse that to the citizens that are connected to cable and within the town that paid the $5?
Probably cost us more than $4
Which
to
is,
give you
seems to
your
be the
$4.
fair thing to do, where this is a new junk charge. And every 6 months, Spectrum goes up. It's like clockwork.
Yep.
It goes up $5. It goes up $5. I cut my cord. I'm done with it. I get internet and that's it. And I stream everything else. But it just seems to me that if the town's going to benefit from this, rather than just apply it to the general fund, that it should actually be given back to those taxpayers who are connected to cable, which,
Part of it is polls too. There was a whole thing on the polls and the.
well, that's part of their expenses, just like CMP has
Yes,
delivery
it's really-
charges, right?
The whole thing was just weird, like the polls and the land and the,
Mm.
there was a lot of really
But-
strange things.
Yeah, but most of their poles are owned by CMP. Not all of them.
Right.
There are poles. They own the wire along those poles, and obviously there's update and maintenance fees.
Can I ask you a
Just like
question?
there is for CMP's delivery charges that absorbs that cost to them.
Yeah.
But, so
I'm
that's
not so sure
my,
I don't know if we
5
went in
cents.
far enough on what we were gonna do with the money. I don't know if we ever discussed that.
I mean,
think
Tony
Tony-
called it $90,000.
Yeah, I think one of the things that Tony talked about was utilizing that fund. A lot of towns utilize those funds to increase outreach to community, either via technology equipment to be able to stream and broadcast meetings, or via a bunch
But
of
we
different
already
things.
budget for that.
Yeah, I'm sharing what Tony shared.
Right,
with us.
I
So
understand,
that's one
yeah.
of the examples of what Tony
Right.
had shared with us of what other towns do with it. And that the idea is to share it that way by making
Yeah.
sure that your residents are informed more.
This is the first time I've seen this. 38-page
my
document that
two
is
cents.
the cable TV franchise agreement that you guys have been working on. There's no way I'm gonna absorb this 38 pages tonight, and so
No,
can we?
Oh, we're not gonna make any decisions.
We're
All
not,
right,
we're
just-
not doing
just
anything
curious.
with
No
the
one-
agreement.
We're not doing anything with the agreement.
All right, I have a question for you now. What is,
Sorry, I can't.
Hey,
Yeah.
folks, please.
what is your opinion on this? You've been here and worked on this the
Hmm.
whole time, right? I
Mhm.
wanna know what you think about it, please.
After I've gone up and down with it, because I'm just like everybody else. I have cable, I have an internet bill. It goes up every month, but if this is something that could come back to the town to help either with technology, increase technology, whatever we choose to do it, I'm okay with it. Because they're gonna charge us anyway. It's gonna be there. So let's just set it up right, do it the right way, get an ordinance, get the agreement right, and do it the right way. And this has been going on, I don't know if it's been going on as long as Oscar Littlefield Road, but it's been close. We need to make a decision here. Not
Yeah.
tonight, not
All
tonight,
right,
but
oh,
read up on it and
I know that Norm Hutchins is still the franchise name Holder on the bill. His name is still
Yes,
on the
I
bill.
saw that too. I was like,
No much, that's a long time ago. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, if I can, I want to really push back on what you just said. That they're going to charge it to you anyway, you can't get your price down, and so we might as well just charge it from the town. To read from their email, Charter does not collect or charge a fee if the town chooses to not impose a franchise fee. They don't add additional franchise fee costs to the cable packages. This is from them, okay? This is the email they sent you. And they give an example of how that works. So in a town that imposes a 5% franchise fee, the billing that used to be $100 will now show $100 plus an additional $5. So yes, they throw all kinds of stupid fees into my bill, like the ones I just read that are going on.
Yep.
Here's the difference. I can call and say, I don't want to pay that. And it's their discretionary fees they're throwing on there. So when I have those chats, they lower the bill. But when I call, they go, well, we can't do anything, ma'am, about municipal taxes, which this would be. This would be a municipal fee that would stick there no matter how awesome a negotiator I was. All the other stuff, I can negotiate, all of it. And I think that it's just really wrong for a town to go along and say, well, they do it anyway, so let's get some money out of the townspeople and then pretend you're going to give it back. If I get it off my bill, it goes right back into my pocketbook. It goes into me. It helps me do my technology and whatever. If you charge it, it goes to the town coffers for something. And I know you sound like lovely people who will try to do something right with it. I'd rather have my $5 back. I really don't understand why you would want to go along with this mentality of they're all going to, I'm trying to think of a polite way to say it, mess with us. And we're just going to have to eat it. I think that you should say, no, we want to be the town that doesn't charge this extra. I really feel you should do that. Thank you.
So Lindsay, what we're trying to do is schedule a public hearing, right? And
for
Tony
the
could,
ordinance.
For the
for the
Not even
ordinance.
on the agreement part.
Okay, and Tony could be there, and that would be
I'll
the place
ask him.
where everybody could
Yep.
come and,
And ask him.
because he
So
loves that, to answer
It has
and
to
explain
be-
it, and
a minimum of 30 days notice. So if we look out, maybe September 18th would be a little beyond 30 days. And I'd have to put like newspaper, an ad in the newspaper and stuff like that. So you can go out further than that if you want, just to make sure there's like ample notice out there. So you have September 18th, which is one of your regular meetings, or October 2nd, October 16th.
I think October 2nd sounds splendid, don't you?
I agree.
Yeah?
Yep,
Sounds good.
and again, it's just public hearing, we'll invite
For the
Tony.
ordinance.
Okay,
Poor
but I think inviting Tony too gives the opportunity for everyone that wants to come to the public hearing to ask those questions and
Yeah.
really
He can,
drive it
he
home.
can explain it to you better than anybody. This is what he does for towns.
He's not slippery, is he?
No,
I'm kidding.
he literally just loves this, which is
No. They don't like him. Spectrum doesn't like him. No,
No,
he
he
is
is-
not Spectrum by any means.
no, he's
No,
involved in some
he's-
possible legislation too.
He's an independent.
I think he's just an independent consultant, and he's
Yeah.
doing legislation at the state level about this too. The
Yeah, we're not the only one.
PUC, Public Utilities Commission.
Okay, moving on, RFPs for ARPA fund projects. The ball field, the transfer station, and Kennybunk Pond. We had workshop.
Yeah, so I kind of just, I don't have one for myself. I summarized it on the first page for you guys.
Yep.
Like setting aside 92,000 for Kennybunk Pond Beach, which is what you discussed at your workshop. And then we got the two bidders for the general contracting came back, they lowered their bids. In reaching out to them, it looks like Brad Nickel was way ahead of us in terms of the workshop, so he had already taken stuff off of the ARPA list before he put that out to RFP. So the only thing I could really take off the RFP was the paving that goes down to the salt shed. So the numbers are still pretty high. So I kind of broke it down like, the 92,000 left over for the transfer station and what that leaves us with. We'll pretty much use up all the ARPA funds, I think, for those first two things for the most part. And then if we want to do other stuff at Bunganut, we're going to have to figure out a different plan. So I did put in there's the capital improvement fund. You guys asked how that gets replenished. It gets replenished at town meeting. We will be adding 15,000 to it. And then we also set up a reserve account for the transfer station, but that was primarily to,
They're the compactors.
yeah, do the compactors, which are really, really expensive. I guess all 3 of them need to be replaced. So I don't know if you want to dip into that reserve and just might have to stay
I
out of
don't.
that one.
I don't.
So then you'd have to look at either raising and appropriating funds or, how else do you get money for some of these projects? If you don't want to take it out of capital improvement.
Okay.
Karen Kane, Kennebunk Pond. I sent out the revised, the scale back information to the 2 bidders. I don't know if you got anything back, but they should be coming in. We put a due date of this coming Friday.
Okay.
So we should be getting those back, and hopefully they're less than what we expect them to be.
You were saying at the workshop, you were going to ask if they could.
Yeah, best and final.
their
So,
pencils.
and then just another quick update beyond that, the committee has a meeting a week from today to go over a lot of logistics that go along with the implementation once we get into the final stage. So there's a long laundry list of things that we need to work out, but that's just where our committee is at.
Okay,
It's
thank
coming
you.
together.
We're getting there. The only question I had on, and this was a good document to read, it kind of spelled it out, was on just comparing between the 2 bidders. There's a fee estimated of hours on the first construction company, and that's 0. And then there's $111,800 on the second one. Did you ever that broken down what that is?
That's how they broke it down. It was broken down, so that's just a bid tabulation form.
Mhm.
And so some of them didn't really go into great detail. Well, actually, Dan Cuse did, and I just don't have it in front of me. I would say Dan Cuse broke theirs down a lot better because they actually broke down like the concrete and the paving. I think the only thing they didn't put in there was the fees. But that's their total amount on the bottom.
Do you know what the leftover paving fee in their revised one is for? 17.5 versus,
So that's when you take out those compactor, the retaining walls, you're gonna have to break up some pavement in order to do that, so that they would be repaving what they're breaking up. So
okay,
there will be some paving around the retaining walls, because that'll have to be fixed, but we took out all the paving that goes behind and down to the salt shed.
Got
okay.
it. Okay. Okay, so we really can't do anything with this until we hear from you and your revised numbers.
Fingers
Okay.
crossed, revised numbers.
Yes.
That will help.
Okay. All right. Committee and department reports. No commissioner. Oh, do we have any? I see C and E and F. Fire chief.
Good evening. Just a couple quick updates and then a couple discussions we probably can start. All of our shifts are being filled, all the calls are being answered. The extra people that we got at the last budget cycle have worked out very well. They're being filled in the weekends. We've had a few times where we've had some simultaneous calls that typically would have been a mutual aid ambulance, but we're handling it and we're covering it. So that's good stuff.
Awesome.
We've got 2 new college live-in students that live in the fire station, moved in this week. So Southern Maine Community College has a program where kids can go to college, study fire science, paramedicine, or criminal justice, and live in a fire station. So we've been a part of that program since pretty close to 2012. And we got our 2 new ones this month, and they've started in the fire academy, so they'll be trained as firefighter 2s, and they're both got their EMT training and waiting to take their EMS licensure tests in the near future.
Man, is
So-
that 100% time? Is that like their dorm essentially?
Yeah,
Okay.
So we pay them just like we pay any other call force member.
Yep.
But for the time that they're inside that building, they don't get compensated. They get a
Yeah.
free place to live.
Nice.
We started in July with community CPR classes.
Mhm.
So the third Saturday of every month, hopefully as we move forward, will be a community CPR class at the fire station. And check out our Facebook or our website to find information on that. And currently right now, we're at 532 calls for the year. Where last year at this time, we're at about 506. So still busier. Actually we were a lot busier a month ago by the numbers, and we're starting to catch up, but we're still ahead. I've been doing a lot of work over the last year on trying to get a new dry hydrant in town. And we're at the point where we've found the spot and are looking to get your buy-in to put a dry hydrant on Barker's Pond.
Is that what you were talking about for surveying?
Yes. Yeah. So I've been working with a large group on a community wildfire risk reduction plan centered around the Massabesic Forest. And there's grant money tied in. And so this isn't just my decision where to place this hydrant. The rural fire water supply specialists really making the decision. There's about $5,000 of grant money that goes with it, but the total bill is going to be close to about $20,000.
Mhm.
So before we do much more work, want to know if you guys are all right with that.
What's in your fire hydrant budget?
About $20,000.
So that would cover that one plus the $5,000 grant?
Well, so it would take about $15,000 out of that budget line to do this project.
Wow.
But if we're going to move forward, the first thing we need to do is get that land surveyed to make sure that it is town land and that we are digging on town land and not somebody's property. Right?
Sounds prudent.
I mean, because we haven't installed one in
It's been a while.
a lot of years.
We've maintained and reinstalled, well, the mill pond, I guess technically Dayton Turf Farm was probably the last one we've done.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we put a brand new one in,
Right. Okay.
but the price is only going up
Yeah.
every day. And I mean, there's not a lot of places left in town that's town property. And
Money
working
appropriate,
with people to
so
put
go
one on
for
their
it.
private property has not been successful.
Mhm.
So in order to get the land surveyed, would you have to take it out of that fund also?
I don't think you.
I mean, I
It's
think,
part of that
I think at this
project.
point, it's all town funds. It's not fire department funds. It's not so you can take it wherever you want to take it. In my opinion,
Or does it go to the new?
it would make
The
sense,
committee.
honestly, right?
Careful
Well,
what
the
you
fire-
say in your out loud voice.
Oh, so if we want the hydrant, you better go, we gotta find new land.
I mean, it would make sense, right?
Yeah.
It's for a fire hydrant. It's just part of the construction process to survey the land.
Right. Part of the project package.
What do you think, Brenda? Is this gonna be a big to-do? No?
How much do you think it's gonna cost to survey it?
I'm seeing 7,000.
7,000 or 8,000 to survey the land.
Mm.
Well, then we can't afford to do the hydrant anyway.
We could-
Don't you have all pipe and stuff already?
We don't have enough. We bought enough pipe to do it at a different location, which fell through, so we just got about half of the pipe that we.
What about the public
Hey,
access?
Brian,
Yeah, the
Oh, please. Oh,
we
boy.
we can't be having this conversation back and forth, please. Please. All right, well, I guess the survey, unless we have a survey, we're not gonna,
Could there get a price on a surveyor?
Yeah, I guess
Maybe as a starting
honestly,
point?
when I thought I heard you say $1,000 when I was in your office the other day.
I asked applicants if there was small tools to get a building envelope defined. That's about the price. That's not a full survey. That's-
I mean, we did a survey for this area. I don't remember how much it cost. I think it was, I don't remember it being that expensive.
Why
could
did I
look
think it
into
was like
that.
3,000?
Yeah, it was like, I want to say 3,000 or 4,000 for this.
Could we, so here, could we get Matt the name of that surveyor? and
Yeah.
I
you
know
guys
who
could
it
get
is.
a price?
I'm gonna disclose that it's my cousin.
Oh,
He's my cousin.
So, I mean, maybe we
Yes.
can get some quotes or something and kind of get an idea of what this will look like.
He's saying it's the town's responsibility, that survey.
I think,
Well, whoever-
we need to move
however.
forward with it though.
Brenda, can
'cause
you?
We need a
move forward
price.
And see what we can get for pricing and, you want to put it in this year or, yeah. Okay.
Call cousin Steve.
cousins.
Yes.
Yeah, and
We
I can
don't
talk
call them
to
cousins.
the group that I'm working with, and maybe we can put this, they're putting in 3 hydrants. One's gonna be in Waterboro, one's in Hollis, or maybe Kennybunk, Hollis, and Lyme.
Okay.
So it'll be some time, so maybe we can push it off to next year. I don't want to, but.
Well,
We can at least
so
see how
we'll
much it
see
would
what we can,
cost.
see if we can get a price on it. See if we can fit it in.
I apologize, I misheard you, because I didn't think, what I thought I heard was not a big deal. This is a big deal.
I may be wrong.
All right. The last thing that I have, I know it's on your agenda a little later, and I don't know if you want to talk about it now or you want me to wait, but the personnel policy that needs to be signed by both select boards. Dayton signed it last week. So looking to get your signature on that. That's. I know you have.
If you guys don't mind, move this up on the agenda since the chief is here.
So real quick, there's a handful of changes, but a lot of it is changing the word Lyman or the town Lyman to Dayton. We used to, this has been a 3-year process, by the way. We used to pay our call force employees monthly. We've been paying them biweekly ever since I've known. So I changed the words in the personnel policy to match that. Added the Maine State retirement language for the full-time employees and took out the ICMA match for the full-time employees. And the addition of the earned paid leave wording is now in the personnel policy. So that's a quick summary of what I have for changes.
Another 33 pages, 30.
Can I just point something out? Sorry. On page 32, section 11.1, changed Lyman to day.
Ton.
Yeah, gonna be. I don't know if you want the ton on there or not, but
Just in the list of amendments, yes.
yes.
I see.
Yeah,
I
just.
see exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
Did the Dayton Select Board miss that?
I guess they did. If nobody mentioned it. Sorry, it's my superpower, right?
It is.
And then I did have a question, Matt, and this is just strictly for my own personal thinking. On page 22, it mentions employees can accumulate up to 480 hours in their PTO bank. So at 3 months of PTO time, and then it says later on that there is how they get paid. So someone who's been there, when their employment ends, they can get paid what they have in their PTO bank. But if somebody's been there 16 years, full-time employment, they get 100% of that. Is that money set aside somewhere?
No.
So if that were to happen, even at 100, 75, or 50, both towns' budgets would be just totally wrecked.
Well, I guess I'm not doing the math, but 480 hours would be the most that they would have in their bank.
Yeah. So just So that would be close to $10,000 if that were to happen. I'm only asking for my
Yeah.
own personal, like, if that happened, is that money already set aside? Or would that be something that we'd have to come back to the town and say, we have to pay this out? And
If that happened today, which it wouldn't because we don't have any employees with that tenure, there's, I'd have to get the exact number, but I'm very certain that there's enough in the fire department's fund balance to cover any of that overage. It wouldn't have to go back to the taxpayer.
okay, so that's where you would pull it from
That's
the
what-
fund
From
balance.
the fund
Okay,
balance of the fire department,
okay, yeah.
And you
which
hopefully encourage people to utilize their PTO.
absolutely,
Okay.
just not as much as
I
do.
mean, maybe not in the call, but I'm just saying, like,
Right. Well, that's a whole nother thing that we need to tackle someday heavier in budget committee, but and through the fire commission, but we don't budget appropriately for them to take their time off.
right.
And we don't budget appropriately for this. This
Right. 'Cause
never
somebody
been
has to pick
enough.
The slack up.
Trying to watch the words that I use, but there's been, not enough forethought and planning into encouraging employees to use their PTO because mental health and post-traumatic stress were not as big as it is today.
Right.
And we've always in the fire department relied on swap time,
Mhm.
right? You work my shift, I work your shift. Firefighters do have a great schedule where they work 1 day on, 2 days off, 1 day on, 4 days off. So they take that 1 day in the middle off with a swap, don't use their PTO time. Now they get a 5-day vacation, 7-day
Right.
vacation. So there's a lot of benefits to becoming a firefighter if anybody wants to apply. So, but the chance to rack up a PTO bank is there.
And I'm not against that. I just
Oh.
like money wise, budget wise, I go, okay, how does that happen if somebody comes in and there is no money there?
Right.
So I'm all for being like, okay, let's figure out how do we budget that in? So, and maybe
Yeah, maybe a reserve account, a non-lapsing reserve account next year is something to talk about. I mean, the one thing the fire department does not have is we don't have any light duty.
Mhm.
So if you sprain your ankle, you can't come to work at the fire department.
What's the most hours people have accrued so far?
I would say probably in the 300-ish range right now we've got on the books.
Good.
He just gets that 1 hour for every 40 you work.
Oh.
Like state of Maine.
So, motion to approve? You guys had, obviously you've read it.
I did read it.
I've read it.
I got some minutes today.
That's because to review and approve.
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
There you go, chief.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, we'll hop back up to department and committees. We had the fire chief, CEO. Hello.
So what I'd like to offer for your consideration is a couple of changes to the fee schedule.
Mhm.
What I've been working on for the past year, I've tried to accomplish the funding of my department to come from fees and not taxation as much as possible.
Mhm.
I don't think that's ever wholly attainable, but I like to work towards that. There's a couple of the assignment of 911 number. We don't charge for that, and it takes a little bit of research and at least one visit to the site, sometimes two. I would like to tie in, and I'm working on the driveway cut permit that the road commissioner works. I'd like to overlap that because it's practically the same information, and And we usually generate that and then get it to him. He checks it out and then he approves it or not. So I would like at the same time to possibly put in the 911 process. And we charge, I don't have a fee schedule in front of me. I think it's 35 for the driveway.
Yeah.
I would like to propose that we charge 35 for the assignment of a 911 number. That was my thoughts on that.
Okay.
And then the other, actually, there's a couple more things. There's a lot, in the ordinance, it says that you can park an RV vehicle on a site for 120 days. I'm a little concerned with that because we don't know what they're using for septic. We don't know that they are safely wired electricity-wise. Marcel, I think, shudders when I bring up some of the things to him. We don't know that they're meeting setbacks. I'd like to propose that we start using some kind of a registration. I'd like to see an annual where they, some kind of a form that they submit to the town that says what they're using for septic. And it also tells me when that 120 days, when the clock starts ticking. I have no idea. And it would just get the information into the records of what they're using for the electricity and the septic, and that the setbacks are okay. So I would like to initiate, I was thinking maybe $100 a year for that. There's a lot of interaction there as well with the septic and the electric. So I'd like to offer that for you to consider.
How many sites are you?
There's quite a few. And I know it's not something that's going to happen this year, but I am really surprised. You gave me the authority in February to start tree removal process in the shoreland. We had a permit and we had a fee, and that's working wonderfully. I'm doing 4, 5, 6 permits a week. So they are using that. So the word has gotten out there, and I'm really pleased with that. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe this would go the same route. So I'd like you to think about that. Oh my goodness, the other thing went right out of my head.
Yeah, demolition permit,
Demo permits.
demo permits.
Actually, I think that got issued that got highlighted by mistake. I
Okay.
believe maybe.
Yeah, that was
And
already
then the
on there.
non-refundable, the non-refundable.
Oh,
application.
yes, that's probably one of the most important things.
Okay.
It happens more than you would think that people apply for an application for whatever, and circumstances change and they never come back for it. They change their mind, they sold property, who knows? And there's a lot of research that goes into writing a permit. I have to check so much, how the land is being used, what the setbacks are, what the septic is, all of that. So I would like to propose that I could charge a non-refundable, say $50 fee at the time of application. And if they pick up the permit and it gets processed properly, then I could apply that to the eventual fees. And I think that would offset the expense that the town is realizing when that happens. So I think that was all 3 things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brenda, the fee for the RV, that would just be on sites that there isn't a house on it. It's just the RV, or would it be for like?
We don't have many. Usually if it's a site where there's just the RV, that's almost always permanent. They have a septic and I know it's there and we treat it like a structure. But it's people whose family come to visit and spend the whole summer or 120 days. I mean, I wouldn't even want to have to pursue it. Obviously if they're there for a 2-week vacation, we can't do that.
Yeah.
But if they're there for the whole season, I think we need to ensure that they're there safely and that, I'm not sure outside of shoreland because that section that says 120 days is in the shoreland. I don't think it's in any other, although I still worry about what they're using for septic and especially the electrical. So I would think those that are permanently on a site probably are treated like a structure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I done?
I believe so.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want a decision on the two fees that you have, you proposed? Because the camper one, we don't have anything on that. That wasn't on here.
Did I put that on there? I thought I put an RV, a seasonal RV permit. Maybe I didn't.
You can check the signed one. I think I got the signed one after. So I
It
don't know.
might be under the shoreline. I don't know, I did it a while ago. If you could vote on it, I could get it on there if you agree. I think over on the left, there's a shoreline select section, or no?
I got building.
Shoreline
Building,
tree
building.
removal.
Zoning letter, home occupation, gravel pit. I do not see that.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you approve that, I could definitely get it on there and have it for the next meeting for you to sign.
Yep, let's see it here.
And we said $100?
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
If you think that's too steep, we've got to start somewhere, I feel.
And would that kick in an inspection for electrical for Marcel to go out and take a look, so, and plumbing, that it's not a bad idea.
So it would be plumbing and electrical. I see that there's a minimum fee for plumbing. Is there a minimum fee for electrical?
I think there is, I think it's $50. And I don't
So-
believe that necessarily be any plumbing done. I would just want to see how they're hooked into their septic.
Right.
Or
Hmm.
if they
But-
use a receptacle, which I don't always approve of, but.
To my way of thinking, if there's a minimum fee for plumbing, and that is under plumbing, correct? And then if there's a minimum electrical fee and you're checking the electrical to make sure that it's up to code, say for the 120 days, then if there's a minimum there, then that should give you what the permit should be. Say it's 50 for the electrical, that would be $90. That's where I would go with it. That was a lot of words to say, you know.
But still have it as a separate category for RV? Or keep,
Yeah, because you want to keep it separate,
yeah.
but that's a
okay.
place to find the fee. in
Yep.
my eye.
So it would be
And-
RV, however you want to title it, and then it'd be electrical, plumbing, or,
Seasonal. I don't know.
Seasonal RV hookup.
Seasonal over-the-road dwelling unit.
yeah.
And I'm thinking, would it be a registration, but then they're thinking, would go to motor vehicle and that.
Yeah.
is what it is.
No,
I haven't thought of the perfect verbiage for it.
you can come up with that.
If anybody thinks of something, let me know.
The minimum fee for septic is the same as plumbing, so.
Are you gonna make a motion?
I make a motion that we go with these approved changes that are highlighted, and also add the ability to collect a fee for septic and, well, for the RVs. RVs or what? What other, was it, what do you,
RV seasonal.
seasonal, the wording is what is, I wanted to say what we mean, not,
I think it's seasonal RV hookup verification
Yeah.
or something.
yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah. Nice.
Sounds
Jess.
really official.
That's what I did.
90
I'll second
bucks.
that.
Any more discussion?
So you're suggesting $90 instead of the 100?
Yes.
Okay. on top of the minimum fee for plumbing.
No,
No.
not on
No,
top.
not
That's
on
the,
top of.
that's
what.
the two
Okay,
minimums
that's the
together.
two-
That's how
okay, that's
I
what I wanted
arrived
to,
at that
okay,
number.
that's why, okay.
Really, the plumbing and the electrical, it's just verification of what they're using.
Right.
It's not necessarily an inspection.
Yeah.
Right.
And I wouldn't expect them to pull a plumbing permit. Just
No.
if they're, you know, looking into septic.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the legwork's still the same, right? You still have to go
You're still going to have to
look
look
at it.
and,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
and we don't want to have the wrong cords out there that, you know, will get overheat and fire and what have you.
That's what we worry about.
Yeah. If you want to have any comments, you can come up front. Okay. All right, discussion?
So we're
All
at
in favor?
9, we're at 90
90.
for that fee. Okay, just want to make sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Tax clerk. Don't see anything from her. Treasurer report, which is posted. Lots of numbers.
Yeah.
Can I say thank you if you're the one that got that turned around so that you can read it without having to tip your head, trying to get it to stop tilting at the same time?
And our first town manager's progress report.
Yes, thank you.
I don't know if you guys had it. I got to read it today.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was very clear, concise. Thank you. Kind of gives us an idea what's going on. Not kind of, it does. All right, any others in the, no other committee? Okay. New business, review and approve code of ethics. And before Amber gets a chance, page 4, up at the top.
Oh, boy.
I already talked to Lindsay about it beforehand. But since I'm beating her to it.
Yes, thank you. 'cause
Wow.
Did you have that one down?
That was, yes.
Gotcha.
Where we're at, okay.
Let me in on it.
Conflict of interest.
Interest.
Oh.
Interest. Lindsay goes, that's all you found? I was like,
Wow.
well, I read it once.
Oh, I just found it.
All right.
Section 16, definitions.
That's not what we're here for, but,
First draft.
Yes.
oh yeah,
Can I just also say?
I just wanted to make sure I get the Amber.
Oh, that's good. I
Sorry.
appreciate
Charter
that.
Commission discussed table of consanguinity multiple times,
Yeah.
and I know Planning Board has that as well. So I appreciate
I
that.
just want to say that I have never, ever in my life seen that word until right now, this minute.
I had
I feel like it's Christmas.
Don-
I really do.
Don Hernan introduced us to that.
Nice. I'm
So
sure
I
it doesn't
appreciate that.
surprise me a bit.
The fact that you had to do this.
Wow.
This is good.
Does the town have, or is the town working on the whistleblower and protection reporting policy?
If there is one in our current policy, it's probably pretty generic. So we're still waiting on MRI to finish up like some final reporting stuff. And then we'll be working on the personnel policy. So that will get updated or added in there,
Okay.
however it needs to be.
Okay.
So that's consistent with this as well.
Okay.
I think this is great. This is a long time coming. We've been talking about this. Well, I know we've been talking about it since I've been on board. So this is great to get a start on all these policies and procedures.
I make a motion to approve the code of ethics.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
I just want to, my question would
I'm
be,
not-
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm not really ready to vote on this. I'm sorry, I know you guys have been working on this forever, but, I'd like to have a little bit of absorption of it. Just to get it's something I'm voting on. Or I don't have to vote on it either, if you want.
I'll rescind my motion if she needs more time. I don't want to like force you to vote on something that you're not comfortable
Well, I
or force you
appreciate
to
that.
Well, I
not
think-
vote on
Well, I
something.
think it's just important enough that we all should.
Yeah, I just want to, it's not that I'm,
Oh, no, yeah.
I feel like it's my duty to the. Thank you.
We rescinded it, yeah.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I don't have to do anything when
You
you
don't have to do
rescind.
anything.
Okay.
All right.
I don't need a second. The rescission.
So just a quick question. Does this address all of the items in 432 of the charter?
It sure does.
Very good.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's the first place I looked. before I started.
We were very
Okay.
detailed.
We'll leave that to next meeting for when Rusty's there. Okay, let's see here. Ethics. That policy, discuss ordinance review process and charter. That's a
Is that what we talked
B.
about?
So there's a lot of emails going around, a lot of discussion on the ordinance review process. Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? And there's just so much back and forth. I felt like it was more appropriate for the board to have a discussion as a board and just figure out where you want to go with this. I don't know, some charter commission folks had different opinions on it. I think even ORC might have had different opinions on stuff. It was just kind of all over the place. So it's really how you guys want to look at it. I mean, this is the first time we've ever done this process, so we haven't even really given it a chance to thrive. But then there's other things to look at too. Like it just, I don't know, I'm just going to leave it up to you guys to discuss it. I think you might have seen some of the emails and might have had time to think about it. Or your feelings.
My opinion is that the Charter Commission did a lot of work and, a lot of people were here that did the work on it. We haven't gone through, as you just said, we have not gone through a cycle yet. And as Dawn mentioned, they're not going to have anything for this year anyway. So, next year would be the time for the 2-year point. So I just wouldn't go through the trouble right now in the work, since we have enough work to do to go change that. That's my opinion. I'd let the process go as is. And that's been my opinion all the way along.
I don't understand the issue. What are we discussing? What is the nuance that is?
So there's like a lot of emails that went out to you guys from planning board, I think ORC. So you'd have probably a bunch of emails going back and forth, and it's the term general election in the charter. Does it mean 1 year or 2 years? And everybody has a different opinion on that. Some would say it reverts to state statute. State statute says 2 years. So I think Don Hernan had proposed doing a charter change to just take the word general out of there
Yeah.
and maybe just do,
He was
an
just talking
amendment.
about that.
Just do November, right? So you have every year in November, you can vote and adopt an ordinance change and whatnot. But there was like so much discussion in an email. I said, why don't you guys
It's
just
also
talk
gone to the
about
town
it?
attorney. It's also gone to MMA too.
Yeah, there's a whole process in the charter. Like I did the timeline for the ORC, so they have to have it reviewed by an attorney. They got to collect 75 signatures. They got to have 3 public hearings, and they may be able to do all that within a year. It's possible, but we've had an ORC for about a year now, and they're not there yet. There's a lot of work to be done.
There's a lot of work.
Yeah, there is a lot of work to be
Review.
done.
I think
So, I mean, if you guys feel, however you feel about it, you want to leave it as is or look at changing things, it's totally up to you. Or bring in more discussion about it. I mean, that was another thing I think was getting some weigh in from the Charter Commission. We've only heard from like a couple of them and not the full commission, like what their intent was, or I don't know, getting in any opinion you want from whoever.
I'm just gonna say, like, I hear what our town council is saying. I hear what MMA is saying about interpretation. I also, like, general election is defined by the state. So to me, whether that was my intent or not, as a member of the Charter Commission, I just think that there's a definition that is the sort of common definition of what that refers to. As a member of the Charter Commission, my intention was to bring it to a November vote as opposed to a June vote, because it would get it in front of more people. But I know other people have different thoughts about that. Sitting in ORC meeting, the one that I was able to attend so far, there's a lot of work. So I don't know that anyone's like, yeah, we're going to be there in November by any means. So I don't know if there's a huge rush on this, but I also think that it couldn't, from my perspective, it could not hurt to remove the word general, because there's nothing that if they were ready to go, that's how I see it. But it's an amendment. It's removing one word. Still leaves it as going to November. And that would put it before the voters to say yes or no.
To go, to put it in November every year, or every,
Correct. The opportunity. It doesn't mean they're going to have something every year. It just gives them the ability to put it each year.
But now
Still
I'm
requires
confused.
75 signatures. It
Yeah,
still
but I'm
requires full
confused. You
process.
said the state said it's state statute said every 2 years.
Correct. The
No,
way it's
that's
written
the
now, the
definition.
language says
definition.
general
Okay.
election.
So if
So
we
the
go back
state
on,
definition says
Yep.
that the general election is every 2 years.
okay,
So if we, the select board, put forward something to the voters to amend the charter to remove the word general, then we could just say
No.
the November election. It doesn't even mean that ORC would always have something for the November. I mean, I would think that they would, but I can go either. I'm not, again, ORC has so much in front of them right now. I don't know, but this is like oh my goodness, we better get this done right.
Well, and you don't have to.
but from my perspective, from a regulatory perspective, what I do, having a state definition and something to fall back on instead of, the selectman said, just whatever. As opposed to somebody challenge it, it's every 2 years, state, we go by state statute.
Well, I don't.
Yeah,
I think
that's
she's
not-
talking about
Two different
Yeah, two
things. I
different
agree
things.
with you. If it says general, to me, it's 2
Again,
years.
that's what I mean.
Correct.
General. I say
That's my
stated, then you have something to,
Correct. I wouldn't say, oh, well, it wasn't Jessica's intent on the charter commission. That wasn't the plan, right? I agree. If the word general is in there, it's 2 years.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
for me, from a
What I'm-
regulatory perspective, that just gives you that.
Yeah. What I'm suggesting is basically what Dawn had outlined is if we remove the word general, then it can just go to, it could be an annual
Yeah.
without that word general, because then it's not defined. It would be
Yep.
the November election. So, but again, it's not, to me, it's not a pressing, urgent
Yeah.
matter today, but
I like to have something to be able to back it up. That's just, yeah, I am.
Yeah, you don't have to make any decisions on anything. I just wanted it to be, out in the open because there's so much email.
I think it's
Yes,
going to
it is.
continue. It's either, it's going to, the same exact conversation is going to continue until the next general election in 24. That's what we're just going to hear that over and over again. Because I hear it all the time. If somebody comes in the library and mentions it, oh, general election. Okay, yeah.
Yep. I just don't think like you said, there's no burning issue that we
Yes.
have to do it. I just leave it the way it is, let the process run the way it is. And
Good.
moving on. Are we done?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, glasses. Agenda format, update and revision.
I put this on here because, and you can, look at whatever type of revision you want, but I felt like complaints should come off the agenda because I think those things should kind of go to the town manager to investigate complaints. And if it rises to the select board level, it can be brought to the select board level. But you already have, public input and mail. So there's other forums people can use to address things to the board. But complaints lately have just been something that has been like kind of a flurry. And I think it would just be more professionally handled, streamlining through your town manager. So I would recommend taking that off your agenda. You don't have to. If you don't want to, you can leave it there. And then whatever else you guys think of.
Would complaints be handled faster going through the town manager versus waiting for meeting every other week?
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we remove complaints from the agenda.
I'll second that.
And so my discussion would be that if anything goes to the town manager that still needs the board attention, it can be put as an agenda item or put
Yeah.
to executive session. So
Yeah.
if appropriate, I think that's the right thing to do
Yeah, I agree.
personally.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Go. Committee applications.
So I just did a brief summary. I don't have any recommendations not to appoint anybody, but you can go through. You guys have the final say. So.
But you went through the process of interviewing and what have you, that we had
Yes.
talked about meetings ago? Okay. So, want me to just go through them and,
They are, so the whole interviewing process, it's like everything's confidential up until you appoint the person. So I summarized my notes in a way that doesn't identify specifics, just so you know, because if you don't appoint these people, it stays confidential.
thank you.
You get enough nights of the week open? You don't have any other committees right now?
Bung or not?
So we're seeing this for the first time. Need summaries.
Yep.
Yep, okay. So we have 3 for the Comprehensive Plan Committee. And we have, how many openings?
As many as you want. There's no comprehensive plan. We started because the ORC was working on LD 2003, and then they wanted the comp plan to be updated. And so it can really be any amount of people you want. There's no specific cap to it. It's
Yep.
just- yeah.
Okay,
And for comprehensive plan, I've recommended that we table it a number of times in hopes of getting more individuals to volunteer for that. So
so we have them.
we've put them out there multiple times.
Yeah, I reached out to like former committee, people who were on the comprehensive plan committee before, and then I'm always trying to put blast out there.
Yeah.
I mean, QR code and everything.
So the comprehensive plan needs to be redone every so often,
Mhm.
and ordinances are reviewed every so often. Do they work together? Does one need the other one to do what they do? Like the comprehensive plan committee, do you have to have them do a specific thing before the ordinance review committee would work off of?
The way I advertised it, because the discussion started with LD 2003, and I had advertised it that would be the primary goal, that they look at the comprehensive plan and mirroring that with LD 2003, so that when the ordinance review committee starts reviewing ordinances for LD 2003, they have a mirroring comprehensive plan document they can work with that addresses, how the future growth is going to, preside with Lyman. And then the other, following from that would be like housekeeping stuff, and then any other things that they felt like needed to be addressed. Because you did do a comprehensive plan in 2019.
Yep.
You only have to do it every 10 years. So it doesn't need to be updated right now, but I think some consensus was it might have been lacking a little bit, so it wouldn't hurt to,
Well, the
Review it.
ORC initially brought it forward, right?
yes.
Yeah.
The one thing that was brought up is that the appointment of a town manager changes the comprehensive plan. So there's like a lot of
Okay, yep.
housekeeping stuff
Right.
because it's based off a select board. That was one of the bigger things
Hmm,
that
good
ORC
point.
mentioned.
And life has changed over the past few years.
Yeah.
In a lot of different
Well,
ways.
The reason why I asked that question is, would it be wise to have one individual on both committees? Would that appear to look wonky or not? Or I wonder.
My understanding is like the comprehensive plan addresses how you want to see growth in the town. Like if you, it doesn't really address ordinances, but it helps
Guide.
ordinances in some ways. It's really about your growth plan. Where do you see the future in your town? Is our population aging? Do we need to invite more, elder housing into the community because we see our population is aging out? Those kinds of things they look at to see what's the next 10 years going to look like for Lyman. That's how I see it. So
So by the other hand, the other side of my question could be, would it benefit the town to have the same individual on both of these?
Could.
See what I'm saying? I'm just, that's all.
Mhm.
We doing them individually or are we doing them as a package?
Well, I think we would have to vote on each
Committee.
section
Yep,
individually.
well, let's do comprehensive plan committee first.
Fire away.
Can I make motions?
I'll make a motion to appoint all three of these people to the comprehensive plan
Committee. Yep.
committee.
Committee,
And I'd second that.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance Review Committee,
So can I just ask a question though? So we just did that and you said that we identify after we,
Now it's public
so
information.
now they're appointed.
they're appointed, their application is public information. Any notes, and I checked with legal on this, any hiring notes, I
Yeah.
did a little
Yep.
interview questionnaire thing, that's confidential.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, their application becomes public.
Okay, so it's fair to say that we just appointed Don Hernan, David Alves, and Michelle Felicetti to Comprehensive Plan Committee. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I just want to,
good,
Thank you.
no, that's good, that's good stuff.
I was
It's
gonna
all
do
new.
something like that.
okay. Next.
Old way we'd be blabbing. All right, Ordinance Review Committee. Just so everybody knows what we're reading, we're just not reading names. They're based on her interviews. She has summarized in a paragraph or two, and for our reading pleasure.
But they're written.
Which we will destroy afterwards.
Well, so this is confidential, so I'm going to say it this way. One individual that has applied has a history in the town with some things, and one of them included getting bought off to get out of a
Whoa,
contract
whoa, whoa,
or something. And another one that's already on the ORC did the same thing. And so, I don't know.
I
If that's-
don't think that should be discussed.
I'm just, it's,
You can have your opinions, but I don't think that's something for public discussion.
well,
You can have your vote and you can have your reason why, but I don't think that. We agreed on something the last meeting, 2 meetings ago.
well, I
We
understand.
were happy
We were on a
about
roll, but that was then.
that. But I would just be very careful on that.
No, I understand it. I was trying to be that way, but
No,
I'm just,
no.
it happened.
No.
I was there.
So I do, just for the record, I do consider like written complaints or, things that are documented. I mean, I can't fall back on, something that might happen 10 years ago. I wasn't here for that. But if it's documented, and there's a record there, that's something that does get kind of looked into and considered. I didn't find anything glaring
You'll-
for anybody.
I can't speak to what happened to anything since
Yeah.
I haven't been here.
But just so you know, I do try to consider those things, so. Of what I know, like the information that,
What's
That's
on file.
available.
What information that's on file.
yeah.
Well, and I think the biggest thing that I've heard from ORC, and admittedly, I couldn't attend their meeting
I
last
wasn't there
week.
either, but
But is they currently have 7 members. We didn't outline a specific number of people to be on that committee. And there's a lot of work, and there's a lot of, like, I thought the meeting I attended was great because we really just sort of talked through, or the committee talked through process and where to start and do you chunk it into sections, or do you just barrel through the whole thing? And it's a lot. So I think any help they can get.
From what I heard, I think they're still discussing that. They're still, yeah.
But it's a tough-
It's been tedious. It's a lot of work.
So I just, my point is I think that additional members would help, hopefully the group be able to potentially even just divide and conquer pieces of it as subgroups that come back to the greater good, the greater group. I'm not sure. But I'm sure that extra help would not be turned down.
Do you attend most of those meetings?
I've attended one since being appointed as their liaison. I wasn't able to attend last week, so.
I'm curious, yeah, there you go.
So this would bring it up to 9
Mhm.
voting members,
and then they have a planning board liaison and a CEO liaison.
okay, that don't vote.
They don't vote. Just
Okay.
offer it.
So they're not a part of the quorum.
Right.
Okay. So my concern is that, and this is, I honestly haven't watched their meetings, haven't attended their meetings, but the higher the number, the larger you need for a quorum.
Mhm.
And then also the larger the number, the more in the mind is, oh, we have enough people, they'll show up. And then they're all kind of thinking the same thing, yet nobody shows up. So they don't end up having a meeting. This is what I just like,
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen. Like, I don't want it to get so big that, okay, now you need, if you're at 9, you would need 5 for a quorum.
Mhm.
And
They did create bylaws and they put in like an attendance
Attendance.
provision there, which I think
Okay.
will help. So, if people aren't attending, I think the ORC needs to address that and bring it to you guys so that we can remove people who are not attending and get people who will attend.
okay, that's
So
my
they
only
just- yeah.
concern.
Didn't they already address that on attendance,
Yeah,
I believe?
In
yeah, and it's
right, within the
improved.
bylaws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, so,
I think the voice always projects no matter
I
what.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Lindsay, you recall that the ORC at the previous meeting, where
Okay,
Jesse
I was there.
that in the event that they cannot muster a quorum, they'll conduct a workshop. They'll still get something done,
Good.
and so they won't dissolve. That's how you remember
That's
that?
what they talked about. Yeah, they didn't
I-
update their bylaws officially. And
Mhm.
they're kind of an advisory committee too. They're not making, they're not making decisions like a planning board,
Mhm.
relevant to
Right.
somebody's, site plan review or subdivision or something like that. And so, it could just be, I wouldn't be opposed to them doing a workshop in lieu of, because you still have that language in their bylaws that addresses the attendance issue. So I'd just like to see.
Thanks.
That's fair.
Yeah, so that kind of covers it.
Yep.
Also, the workload that they have, people take vacations and what have you, holidays, so.
Right.
So I'll make a motion to appoint the two applicants to the ordinance review committee.
Well, how do we do that if we wouldn't mind having one of them and didn't want the other one?
We can number them.
Yep, we
one
can
and
number 'em.
two, or A and B. What's that?
I will rescind my motion.
Or
And I will rephrase my motion.
rephrase.
I will make a motion to nominate applicant number 1, being the top one, to the ordinance review committee.
I will second that motion.
Discussion? We've had plenty. All in favor?
Oh, we have a hand in the,
Oh, no, that's not where, no, this isn't discussion from them. Is it discussion?
It's up
Oh,
to
the-
you. I mean, you had
You're running the
public
meeting.
comment. Yeah,
Oh, I don't want to break any rules.
Meeting goes through the chair.
totally up to you.
If this is constructive, yes.
Would it be better to have alternates so the quorum doesn't have to be so large? Like the planning board has alternates, so if someone's missing, the alternate fills in, they have a quorum, they have the voting members. It just,
I think that's up to the committee to set it up, not the board or the,
It's up to you guys to appoint them, either regular or,
but they're not set up like
Alternate.
that.
they're not set up like that, but they're also an advisory committee. They're
Yeah.
not making decisions like a board of appeals or a planning board that pertains to somebody's application where you have 60 days to make a decision on those applications. They're just collecting data and information and creating a document to bring to the voters. I just don't see any, and they talked about that at one of their ORC meetings. We weren't there. It was the one before that. And some of them felt like, why would anybody want to be bench warmers, right? They didn't apply to be an alternate. So I don't think it would be fair right now to dictate them as an alternate. That's not what they applied to be.
I just think if quorum becomes problematic, we address it through the bylaws.
Yeah, you have the
Yeah.
bylaws, and then again, I mean, maybe
Yeah.
it wouldn't hurt having a workshop in lieu of
I'll just say charter, how many do we have? 9? 10? 9?
9, 10, yeah.
And we never cancel the meeting because of quorum.
So it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh.
Well, they have, but that's, I think, the past, from what I understand, all the stuff that we've discussed, so. All right, any discussion, all in favor?
I make a motion to appoint applicant number 2 to the ordinance review committee.
I will second that.
Discussion?
You don't want to hear it?
No. Well, I want to be very careful.
I understand. Point taken.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're running the meeting, so I
Right,
respect that.
well, thank you. All in favor? Are we gonna do the same for the next, what, I'm
I
sorry?
didn't get to say nay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, I just did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I actually sung it at you.
I'm
You
not
can go
used to
back,
this.
you can go back and look at the video.
I did hear- Okay, I'm not gonna say anything much singing. It was probably very nice.
I break out in song all the time.
Okay, Board of Assessment Review.
Hold on, I just want to say that we just appointed Dave Alves and Roger Grant to the ordinance review committee.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next.
Board of Assessment Review. I'm just trying to keep things going.
I hear you.
That's me.
I make a motion to appoint applicant number 1, or this is a reappointment, right?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Both of them are, yeah.
So I make a motion to reappoint applicant number 1 to the Board of Assessment Review.
We only had one application for an appeal in the last 12 years. You never know how that's hit or miss, huh?
When it came up,
It's
it was like,
intense.
who are they? What is that committee? So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Do discussion.
I'll just say I attended the hearing for that one.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And I support this because it's just a tedious
So
job.
Yeah.
Working very closely with Lori and going through all the details of how taxes get assessed and formulas and knowing all that process. So if somebody's willing to do this, I'm not going to
And if it's
deny
once in
them
12
of the
every 12
opportunity.
Once in every 12 years, that's okay.
And Lori, honestly, Lori does so much legwork for that, and it was very well run. So
Yeah. Stressful, but
Yeah.
well run.
So how many members are there normally? It says the third member didn't want to reapply. But,
correct.
Yeah,
Is
so-
that how it
So I
ran
think we
at
would
3?
need, yeah, and I think we would need one more. 'Cause
It's
isn't that
per
dictated
state
by
statute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you can have as many as 5 with 2 alternates, but 3 would make a quorum. So you'd have to have a minimum of 3. The third person did not want to reapply. So we will just keep looking for volunteers.
Okay. All right.
Then we have 2. So we've had a motion, we've had a second, we've had a discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to appoint applicant number 2 to the Board of Assessment, reappointment to the Board of Assessment Review.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Kind of comes down to the same thing, reappointment. Person
Exact
wants to
same
be back
thing.
on it. Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So we just appointed Dave Dulong and Don Brand back to the Board of Assessment Review.
Okay, Zoning Board of Appeals.
I'll make a motion to reappoint applicant number 1 to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
I will second that motion.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And I might as well finish it out.
You're on a roll.
Make a motion to appoint applicant number 2, reappoint applicant number 2 to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
I will second that as well.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And
Wonderful.
So we just appointed Kelly Stevens and Bert Sobanek reappointed them to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Do we need another one on that one too? Or was that always
We need
2?
one alternate is vacant. That's it. It's been vacant for a while.
Thank
That's
you.
not bad.
Do you want to sign this stuff before we go into executive session?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, let's do that.
Lindsay, can I keep this?
Yeah.
Okay.
That means these are not going to be on the agenda next time. So good.
Yeah.
Well done.
All these appointments that I keep being like, let's wait and see if we get more people. Thanks, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thanks, Brenda. Brenda, I'll call you tomorrow morning to finish our discussion. All right, thank you. What's- Oh, this is the policy. Don't do that.
I'm sorry. Awake since like 3:30.
You always wake up at that time.
Norman does, and I usually can go back. I can usually go back, and I just could
Let you
not today.
start. I'll start, and then I'll pass these. These are the.
Can I sign in purple?
I have black if you like.
Oh, wait, there's one right here.
I'm like,
Yeah, I know,
like, I feel
yes.
like that's frowned upon, but
I thought you had the sign with blue ink.
I always thought it was blue or black.
Blue or
but
black, yeah.
Blue because
I think it was like the old school way to tell if it was the original.
I feel like I
Maybe.
can't even talk today.
Okay.
Whatever I say, it's not coming up. I don't know. It's one of those days, you know?
I do know.
There. Wait, give them all they have finish. I don't want to mix them.
No, don't mix them. Keep the flow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Those are just the appointments. I know
Okay.
those are a separate document.
Okay.
I like the progress report. That's a good name. Was a good name for it.
These little teeny ones kill me.
Yes. Yeah, I'll let you know if they contact me.
Which progress report?
I hope they get back.
The
Tim.
town
Yeah, I read that today. I thought. it was
town
good.
manager progress report.
Yeah.
See, I can spit it out.
Yeah, if you hear from
Yeah.
them, let you know, and then vice versa. In case,
Did these
hopefully they
orange lines get littler?
I've been saying that since it's like there's a whole piece of paper
Depends
here.
on what your pair of glasses they wear.
But it's probably a program thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. There's
There.
those.
maybe we'll try calling. He's on the phone. I could snag him on Wednesday.
So I understand you lost a good employee. My granddaughter was a little sad.
Yes.
Is that true?
Stephanie.
Stephanie,
But we got a new Miss
Oh,
Stephanie,
okay.
so.
get out. Oh.
So, yes, the new replacement is also Miss Stephanie.
Was she there
So
when Reagan went to this past week?
she might have been, but she might have been as a patron because she brings her daughter. too.
Oh.
So she's been a longtime patron
Oh, okay.
for like, God, 7, 8, 9 years maybe. And so now her daughter's getting ready to go to
Yeah, these
preschool.
are small
And so
ones.
she was like,
Right.
oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Looking for something else.
No, actually, they're the
So,
same
yeah,
as they were
she's-
10 years
she's-
ago.
She's gonna be a great fit.
Right. Well, Reagan loved her.
Yeah, she's so cute.
My kids want to find every penguin every time, and I'm like, guys, these are for
It's
the
only
little
one.
kids. Stop it.
One with your hands, the rest with your eyes. That's what we tell them.
We have to go back.
My other daughter took her friends up to the place in Bedford.
MacArthur?
No.
So where do these go?
Those come back here. These
Oh,
are the
yes.
appointments,
The-
and
over by,
I
like,
called
Portland
as
High
I
or
started to
something
sign there
like that.
because it was,
Yeah.
it was there on the previous page. I know.
Oh my gosh.
I just
we're
didn't
gonna
want you to
have
go, what happened?
It's 20 months.
We'll see if I can incorporate it.
Maybe, you do your best.
And he's got energy.
Yeah.
I don't think he would last more than 20 seconds in the library before you
Well,
push him down some.
thankfully, we're not a shushing library. Like, so kids are like,
Oh, look. You did it.
and then they Oh, I meant to say, watch where you're signing, because my
They
name was
switched.
in different places. I almost.
Why would I even go there? I don't even
Just trying to keep you guys on your toes.
Yeah. I almost
So you
signed,
can
but then
see
as
what
I
you're
looked
signing,
down.
So you know what you're signing.
I just told her on one of them I wrote my J, and then I was like,
I feel like doing it. I'm not gonna do that. Like I'll put my
like
name
just
over
put
here.
yours.
Yeah.
There's one that I started. I caught it.
Look, I'll make it into a happy face.
Oh, jeez. Hopefully it's the only time. Ugh. It's a Monday, so.
You know how last month there was the first and third, and then there was a week, a
I
Monday
know,
after?
we got
There's
like an
another one this
extra.
month.
Oh,
Yep. I looked at that
get
today
an
and I
extra
thought of you.
little.
Okay. Sign. All right.
Perfect.
Put that in there. All right, you're up.
Okay, I make a motion that we go into executive session per MRSA 405, Section A, for a discussion regarding personnel matters. And that's.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Hey.